I'd like to speak to you today because it's Wednesday, the 5th of October 2016. There's a lot going on, probably more going on right now than there has been for several decades. My point of view is I come from various backgrounds, which you can check out from my other books and pieces, but basically I've been in contact with one group, only one group of ET or UT, ultra-terrestrials, for some 53 years. I'm 70 now. And I can only give you their point of view. Their observations are as kind of overseers of not only this solar system, but many solar systems, but within the Palladian domain. And they're obviously extraordinarily concerned about where we are as a human race and as a planet and where we're going. Indeed, I was born in 1946, conceived in 1945 by definition, in a direct response to the nuclear explosions in Japan. Today, believe it or not, we have the Russians Federation staging a major civil defense drill. When I say major, I mean major. They are allegedly moving 40 million people into bunkers, which they have built over the past few years, and drilling and preparing and exercising 200,000 rescue units. This is a huge logistic operation. They've never done this before. This appears to be in response to the deteriorating situation in Syria, where the Americans have been constantly provoking the Russians and the legitimate Syrian government by bombing them when either side was allegedly fighting ISIS, which is the evolution of Al-Qaeda. For reasons that are very difficult to define, it's extraordinarily complex. These groups go by different names, and the objective seemed to be originally that Syria was standing in the way of a pipeline which needed to be built, allegedly, to the benefit of the Saudis. And the Russians have been backing Assad. I'm not political, I'm a historian, I'm an archivist, I tend to take an overview. Now, if this is a regional war, as indeed there are many regional wars going on in the world on a day-to-day basis for the last 100 years, then upstairs, as I call them, UTET is not that particularly bothered because you have the sovereign domain to do what you wish as a civilization, as a race, as a species. However, if it expanded into a nuclear exchange, either tactical or strategic, then upstairs will get involved. I've already given testimony before that back in the decade of the 80s, nuclear armament was disarmed, and it is disarmed by defusing the plutonium fuse and extracting the plutonium fuse by a method which you may not fully understand, but it's kind of almost like teleportation, if you wish. It's a Tesla-type technology, and if you're familiar with the Hutchinson effect, which is a scientist in North America, you'll be able to accept that things like this can be done. Hutchinson, in his use of technology, did rather randomly show that you could dematerialize things. I've actually seen this done myself. You could change materials into a form that would travel through other material, and then by changing the frequency it can coalesce back into material matter. Anyway, enough of that technicality. My point being that for some 30 or 40 years, ET, UT, call them what you will, have demonstrated that they can intercede if they wish in human affairs, particularly if it endangers the biosphere. Their view is that no matter what the political objectives of human beings are, the biosphere of Earth cannot be lost. Cannot be lost. It's too valuable to them, it's too valuable to you, it's too valuable to the creation itself. So what I'm flagging is that if any geopolitical cartels or pressure groups, either aggressively or defensively, figure they're going to destroy the biosphere of the Earth, no, it will not be allowed. And ET, UT will take sides. They will take sides. So basically, if you're sitting in the White House or if you're sitting in the Kremlin, be aware you are not in complete control. It was some years ago, you may recall, that a large squadron of craft flew over the White House as a demonstration. That was purely a visual demonstration. As I said, I have myself been involved in interceding nuclear accidents. Regretfully, there was not a lot that could be done about Fukushima because it was so extensive and allowed to progress so out of control. So the Northeast Pacific is now contaminated completely with radioactive material to the detriment of the environment and the detriment of the species, starfish, seals, whales. I could go on, the whole eco chain is affected, and you should not be eating anything out of there. But returning to the immediate situation, I'm flagging that please people, human people, earth people, governments, be sensible. Don't think that you are in control. There is a higher authority. That higher authority will intercede, and it will basically produce a long-term analysis and effect, which might involve the allowance of certain regional conflicts, but will not allow the loss of the biosphere or the human race en masse. You are the product of 4.5 million billion years, I lose the decimal point, of evolution, and you have no right to destroy that. A lot of people, both upstairs, as I call them, and downstairs, have put a lot of work in here. The human race was created by them. I'm actually popping along to von Daniken's gig on the 15th of this month, when he will, I think, reiterate his ancient aliens theory, which indeed is absolutely true, that the human race was engineered out of primates and other DNA to produce a helper. They then evolved and multiplied massively in the past 50 years. You have a huge population explosion. You could argue that in terms of the overall karma of the last 26,000 years, which we call a great day, that nearly everybody who has been here in the last 26,000 years is back here or in the near space, in the astral space, in the etheric space, and they're here to pass the exam or not. And if they don't pass the exams, they do the whole thing again. They do everything they've done again, like a rerun, like a loop on a video loop, and karma will be fulfilled. That's not a threat, that's just the way it works. It's just the way it works. I am purely an observer, an advisor. I've advised Her Majesty's government on a number of things, mostly ecological. They say I invented, or through my contacts I invented, the oil pollution technology, which is used worldwide even to this day for controlling oil spill. It doesn't work in every case, but it has helped enormously. There's things that I've done, other people have done. There's things that ET has done. The general public is kept radically in the dark on nearly every matter of import. Most of what you hear on your news is complete theatre, designed to have you agree with whatever policy is trying to be implemented at that time. I deal with facts. I deal with very, very hardcore facts. I've had to make some very hardcore decisions in my life. Hopefully good ones, not always correct, because nobody's perfect. If you're perfect, you wouldn't be here. And I'm saying in this message, not from me personally, but from the people and entities that I have communication with and have had for 53 years on a daily basis, that this situation today, over the next few weeks, few months, is critical, and the human race is being invited to make the right decision at the right time, to pull back and grow up. The next war, in my opinion, will be a war by natural elements. I saw some information just the other day, which I find alarming, that Hurricane Matthew, which we are tracking even as we speak here now, it's going over Haiti and Jamaica and heading towards Cuba and heading towards Florida, was primed in the hurricane graveyard zone just off of South America, to the north of South America, where it should have died, but it was primed and given a microwave boost. Why? God only knows why. Why would anybody wish to fire up a hurricane from Category 3 to Category 5, which it did at the moment that it got that boost, and then proceed north to Category 4 to devastate tented people in Haiti who are still living in those tents since the earthquake of some years ago? Why would anyone wish they had the authority to destroy thousands of people? There will be thousands of deaths. I will give you a prediction on that. The people who are being dominated and impacted by Hurricane Matthew are in a very serious, dangerous situation. And Haiti will never recover from this. It didn't recover from the earthquake. I won't get political. I just say that certain monies that were collected by good-natured people never got to them. But even that would not solve the current situation.